He's a Texan oil man, billionaire. Okay. So what he did, he was unhappy with Yahoo's, and I'm taking you back quite a few years. He was unhappy with Yahoo's board of directors. Okay. So he said, "You guys are not doing a good job. Okay, I'm going to throw you out. I'm going to throw you out." He had, I don't remember exactly, he owned maybe 5%, 6%, maybe 10% of the Yahoo stock. So he had a substantial stake in Yahoo. So what did he do? So when the election time came, he printed his own ballots. And he came up with his own slate of nominees, his own people, to serve on the board. So now, when the election time came and you were a Yahoo shareholder, you received two ballots. One from the management. The management wanted you to vote for their nominees for the board. And another ballot that you received was from Carl Icahn. He wanted you to vote for his nominees. So now there was a real fight as to who was going to control the board. This is an example of what we call a proxy fight. Okay? In a proxy fight, the management, the incumbent management, and one or a group of shareholders fight for the control of the board. Fight for control of the board. That's what happens in a proxy fight. The incumbent management and a group of shareholders fight for control of the board. Okay, so what happened in this case? Carl Icahn did not win enough votes. This guy, he did not win enough votes, but Yahoo's management, they became aware of dissatisfaction with them. So they negotiated with Carl Icahn. They said, "We'll give you a couple of seats on the board." So which was a better situation, because now you had, the incumbent management's critics on the board. So you had the incumbent management and you had people who didn't like the policies of the incumbent management on the board. So it turned out to be very well. So I can tell you, many proxy fights, they end up in a failure. Okay, so shareholders who revolt against the incumbent management or the incumbent board, they generally do not win, but they garner enough publicity such that they get bad press, such that the incumbent management is willing to change its policies. Proxy fights may not succeed, okay, but they end up shedding light on the wrong policies of the incumbent management and the current board, and these proxy fights generally end in good things happening, to the board of directors and to the company's policies. Any questions up to this point? All right, moving on. So now a lot of initiatives have happened, since the Enron scandal. I don't know if you I think that we had an ethics speaker. She was an accountant who worked for Enron. Enron was a gas company, oil and gas company out of Houston, Texas. And they cheated shareholders. They cheated everyone in a big way. And the CEO was caught. He was prosecuted. His defense was, Enron CEO, his defense was, "I did not know. I'm not an accountant. I didn't know what my accountants were doing." So this act was passed, Sarbanes-Oxley Act. And one of the things it did was, it told the management in very clear-cut terms, okay, whether you know or not, this is no defense, okay? When you sign off on your company's financial statements, and they do. You see, for example, if you look here, the company's financial statement, you're going to see the CEO's signature. So this is the annual report. So you will see financial statements and the CEO's signature. So this law says, you, the CEO, when you sign off on the financial statement, you better do your job. You better do your homework. We will not accept the defense that I'm not an accountant. If you're not an accountant, you be an accountant. Okay? If you have to be an accountant, be an accountant. But when you sign off on the statement, the financial statements, you are going to be held personally responsible for any fraud, that was committed. So it held the top management personally responsible. Okay, so that was something good. And then Dodd-Frank Act. Because as I said, management compensation is a controversial issue in the U.S. As I told you, if you take the top 100 U.S. firms, the average salary. Did I give you that number? The top 100 firms, the average salary of the average CEO salary, I believe, $15.6 million. Okay, so people, have some questions as to why these CEOs are making, this kind of money. Okay, so this act. So, in case you're wondering, do shareholders vote on managers' salaries? No, they don't. So who sets their salaries? The board sets their salaries. Okay, that's why we want the board to be doing a good job. Okay, so this act says all companies must put their management compensation plans to vote. Okay, let shareholders vote, but it will be a non-binding vote. Okay, so the law does not want to interfere too much with the day-to-day running of a corporation. But they say, hey, let shareholders vote on your pay plans. But it will be a non-binding vote. The idea is let everyone know, So if the vote is against, then management will probably sit up and take notice. Hey, our shareholders are not willing to pay us this much, so we better listen to them. So it's a non-binding vote, but all these public companies, they have to have their shareholders vote on the pay plans.